In school, I was never like the class clown, No, I bought mangoes with my first salary.
Mangoes.
Yeah.
So like this first 20 G's you've been given.
Yes. Okay, not all of it.
You bought mangoes worth 20 G's.
like we have will this on convenience.
Yeah.
Like generally speaking, because of telling myself I've suffered a lot in my life. like why should I be then suffering again?
Yeah.
So first of all, I didn't do well at that BYSS game.
People didn't laugh. What is it like to be on that side of the stage and to see people cringe?
Yo, that thing haunts you all the rest of your life. Like you walk around like, is this who I am? Like you eat, you're like, why do I deserve to eat? Like,
Hey guys, welcome back to Financially Incorrect. I am your host Barack, and as usual, this podcast is proudly sponsored by FXPesa. If you'd like to learn about trading and you'd like to have physical classes, you could go to any of their locations in Thika, Eldoret, Kampala, Nakuru, and coming soon in Dar. If you'd like to take classes and learn online, virtually, all the links in the description box. And finally, of course, if you'd like to trade, and this would be trading either Forex or gold or any other commodities, please open a demo or a live account to do so. All those links are in the description box. And again, a huge thank you to FXPesa who allow us to be able to have these conversations and to bring people's money journeys to you. Today, continuing my streak of fantastic guests, I have none other than a stand-up comedian. He is a brother, a son, and mtu wa mrima. Ty Ngachira, welcome.
Thank you
Welcome to Financially Incorrect.
Thank you very much.
How do you feel when you hear the deputy president saying mtu wa mrima?
For some
And by saying, I don't mean the words mtu wa mrima, but everything he alludes to when he's referring to people from the mountain.
I fundamentally understand that it's a political ploy.
Yeah.
Because there'll be two regardless. I think there's the regardless during when he's deputy, the first phase of Ruto, and if Ruto makes it another time, there'll be a second one.
Mm-hmm.
So the first phase, you don't need to care about the Murima vote. How do I bring the Murima vote back?
Yeah.
After that, now he can be a national.
Yeah.
So he doesn't really care for being a national figure right now.
Yeah.
Because the only thing he owes his boss is the Murima vote.
The Murima vote.
And that's the thing he has to fight for.
Yeah.
So that I'm the only one who has the Murima vote. So
Yeah.
you can kind of understand why that is said a lot.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, continuing with that, I have to ask, what for you? Did you protest in the last month or so? How many days were you on the ground?
Like 3.
Yeah.
Culminating in the one on the 25th.
Oh, you're on the ground on the 25th as well.
Yeah.
Okay. How was that? I wasn't on the ground on 25th.
Hey, I don't think I've ever seen as many people.
Yeah.
Even Pius Moiro at his head did not pull
that kind of crowd.
Like it was everyone and their mother was on the street.
Yeah.
It was huge. The 25th, I think that's when it culminated. That was when because the other days I've happened to be in town during the protest, and it's still happening, but there isn't as many people as that one was when I think our country changed for nothing was the same after the 25th of June.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think now? What are your thoughts now? Do you think we're headed? And this is not to get political. I'm just curious. What are your thoughts about where we are as a country now with regard to accountability, the younger generation trying to improve that, trying to improve financial, I guess literacy, to be honest, at a government and at a government level.
I don't know, when does this air? So by the time it airs, a lot could happen.
That's true. Yeah. So maybe just like general thoughts of
yeah. No, okay. I think the one thing I've liked about this protest movement, it's if anything, we have quite a large educated mass of people who are very politically disengaged. Yeah. Right. So what this has brought out, I think, is a lot of people are now going to be politically engaged around the matter. And I'm happy it was around the finance bill, because what that means is, because even counties have their own budgets, they have their own appropriation bills, they have all the things they need to do. Yeah. Yeah. So it means that everywhere, every county, that awakening will mean that now we get the people who are educated enough to engage properly at that level. Because when I used to do civic education when I was in the NGO world, a lot of problems we used to have were guys would call, like the county would call a meeting for whatever, these are the plans we have for this and this. They give people the budget, but it's only Mama Mboga who attended, or only guys who are Buddha, so they can get 500 bob and leave and approve whatever has been approved. Yeah? So no one really questioned a lot about the finance space.
And
I'm not even like a financial guru, but my work was in accountability and policy. So like that extra thing of saying, but you promised last time that you'd have done this. So now there are people who are now more awake around it. So because the political class depended a lot on the disengagement of a certain cadre of people.
I mean, a question coming from the NGO world. Maybe if I was to ask you to wear your NGO hat and look at, for example, what someone like Mike Mushi was able to try and get done around the finance bill and the translation around the finance bill. I don't know, and I may be mistaken, and I'm speaking from an ignorant space, and I accept that. But I'm not sure that I have seen an NGO be able to effectively do something like that. As quickly as it was done, as effectively as it was done, and with the amount of impact that it that had. And of course, NGOs would have much bigger budgets, and all of that. So, if you were to wear your NGO hat, like when you're seeing that happening, are you starting to squirm a little in your boots and be like, if our funders now come and be like, how is it that this social media personality was able to get X and X and X and X done, whereas you've been here for X years, we've been giving you money for X years to try and spread civic education, but you haven't been able to penetrate?
Knowing the NGO world,
Yeah.
they'll just call Mike, take a picture with him, and then go back to their donors and say we're actually engaging him and bring me the next round of money.
Yeah.
But it's also, it was just the time, the time that happened. Was very good for people to, because you see, someone like Mike has built a platform, not a civic education platform. So people go to him for entertainment. So when he switches it to a civic education platform, the impact is obviously going to be larger. How many NGOs are literally followed to see, and like NGOs have the material, they have the outreach if they want, but the problem is they're not sexy, for lack of a better word. Like, we're in a generation where unless you are entertaining me, I'm not listening. You see? So, like, all these things in government that we are now awakening now, to Mefinyo Sana because it was taxes, all those documents have always existed. They've always been public domain. The auditor general reports have always existed.
Have always been there,
So now, it's the thing, now you want someone to come and make it easy for me to, and you're a smart person, like, you can literally do it yourself. So, I think it's because of the platform they have that made it so much more effective, right? So I think that will call for a lot of engagement with the creative world. Because the creative world is where people have their eyes for the sake of for selfish purposes.
I hear you. I think, I don't know. I think maybe sometimes there's it's a business, being in the NGO
every
world
business starts well.
It's a business.
At first, when you start a business, it's the impact you want, right?
But
then as you continue, now there's the self-sustenance of the business. I've hired people. So now I need to pay my people. So now I'm just, and then you find out there's a tested way of getting funding.
Which is word salad.
So when you get it, you write proposals, you get. So, and when NGOs come and when donors are coming to fund, they can't fund a random person like Mike or like, they have to look for an NGO which has accountability, which has all those structures. So I set them up, then I become a conduit for funds. So it's hard to say, let's say today I decide I'm going to start an NGO for civic education. So because I'm passionate about what happened. After a while, I'm the one who's left with the grind of every day. So eventually I just become I hire someone for the reception. Hire someone for cleaning. I hire someone. Eventually the organization just exists to exist. Just to self-sustain. Anyway. And that's why you always need like new, young, hungry people to remind you of why did you start this in the first place. Every institution needs that. It needs a reminder of, guys, why did we even start this?
Let me ask you a question as we now begin to get into your story, right? What happened to you as a child, or what do you think happened to you as a child or in your childhood that led you down this comedic path that you've taken now?
Honestly, I'm not sure, because I got into comedy at the age of 26. And in school I was never like the class clown, like I was still kind of humorous, right? But I was like best friend humorous. I wasn't like stand-up comedian humorous, you know. So I think one thing that made me become a good storyteller, I'd say, was when I was in primary school. Our primary was both boarding and day. So I was a day scholar, and so the boarders didn't have access to TV. So the day scholars, we had our duty to go watch TV and then come and relate to the boarders exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And it was like in painstaking detail.
Yeah.
Movie ads are ten, ten, ten. Alafu wanasema long ago. So you have to, and then also where there was a culture of, say, where you'd read a book, but let's say, remember like Harry Potter when we were kids.
Yeah, yeah.
So we had a system in school where because we don't have a book, we can't all read the book because it's one book and it's like 50 guys in a class. I read the book, then I give it to someone else. Then I look for guys during the field to explain to relay what's happened, right? Say if I'm in chapter 4, I've read chapter 5 to 6. When we go to the field, I have to relate to guys what's happening in chapter 5 and 6. Because now you become a conduit of storytelling. Yeah. So I think that helped me become subconsciously, where there was like, and so I think also having nerdy interests, generally speaking, but then I think when I went to high school, like in high school you need a thing, like you need what's your thing, Yeah, like in high, there's a guy who's athletic. There's a guy who's a prefect. And like when you mkenda funky, like, so what's your thing for talking to girls? Yeah. So I was a dancer then. I think the first art I did was dance. But I remember now having to, we're in a school where when you were in Form 1 and you get to go for a funky, there was a rule that if you didn't talk to a girl, you were never going back again. It was a shame on your name for the rest of your life. So people had come and report, aliongea na msichana hiyo siku? Yeah. So I think the pressure of, and it was even a culture that the teachers allowed to happen. Okay. Yeah.
Like the teachers endorsed it.
Like the teachers would get to a place and we get, boys, it's a cold morning. I hope I won't see you alone today. And then they'd leave, so the guy in charge would really talk to us. So it became a culture for like, and often I think I see it a lot with guys who I think we were in school with, where they ended up developing really cool co-curriculars. Like when I see guys like Kibuja, Mbachi, Mutoria, like when I see them now engage in places where like I see the culture of the school of being like, yeah, guys, we have to be out there doing that thing. Yeah. But I think all that led, I think comedy was more in adulthood. Yeah. But as a child, I think it was just that. And also, I think my mom was very humorous. She still is. Like she expressed her love to us in humor. It wasn't come, I love you, I hug you. Like, macho kubwa umekuja. Oh, masikio amefika. Maybe that was
that was a way of communicating. Yeah. Right. And what was money like for you guys now, as you're growing up, as you're in this, pursuing these on these pursuits to be able to have enough co-curriculars to talk to girls? What was money like for you guys?
I think growing up at first, I think when I was growing up for like the first 11 years of my life, I think my folks were comfortable. They worked in parastatals at that time, so I didn't feel like I lacked per se. But I think the first time I realized, okay, maybe money can be a problem was the school we were in. It was a public school, but it was really well run. Yeah. But so they had a handball program.
What was the school?
It was called Nyeri Primary, Nyeri Complex. Okay. So they had a program with a school in Sweden where they were teaching people handball. So what would happen is the guys who would, if you became really good at handball, you would go to Sweden for like a month. And then you would, so the school came and told us, listen, you're going to practice handball and the best guys are going to go to Sweden. And, so I had to go to school during Saturdays to practice handball. And I loved, like, I was so then I found something I could be a bit good at, right? Yeah. So finally I was like, so then I told my dad, Dad, there's this guy said, I think I can make it for handball. He's like, okay, let me come to school and talk to your teachers. So he came and talked to the deputy, and I was just waiting outside. I don't tell my friends, even my dad is coming to, so I don't know about you, but
me, I'm off.
Yeah. So you guys talk to your student people. Just I don't know what's happening in your life, but I'll tell you how things happen in Sweden. So So we talk, and he comes out. So he tells me, "Hey, Tony, we need to sit."
Yeah.
So we sit like so I'm like, I'm Sweden lini, and he tells me, "Hey, so the school is not the one paying for people to go to Sweden. It's the parents who have to pay for the individual child." It's like saying, and I don't have that money me and mom don't have that money to pay for
Sweden.
Yeah. So I think that part, like, are we poor? You know, like as a child, you're like, yeah. So I think I became very careful with
what you would ask for.
Yeah, what you'd ask, like, I'd be like, hey, Dad, but do you have money for that? But I think also later on, just before, I think just after high, just when I was going to high school, my mom got retrenched. Yeah, so now we became a one-income household, and now things changed properly.
Yeah,
now that's I feel that's when like we were very conscious of the bills, and also my mom got sick a lot growing up. So like a lot of her time was spent in hospital, so a lot of money went to hospital bills. So I think the second part of my childhood was not very financially, like, you know, it was just like I took lala and ja, but we didn't do the things our neighbors were doing. You know, it was you learned how to. They sold the car. They like now all the things you thought we took for granted now. Yeah, it's just. So that was it basically.
That was it basically. Yeah. Okay, I mean that sounds. I mean, I think we've had a couple of people talking about sort of that shift as well, whether it's happened, you know, whether it's a two-person household coming into one, and then you move from sausages to not so much sausages, or not eating out so often, or things like that. Yeah. So, I mean, what do you think for you that impact? For you with regard to how you perceived money or how you saw money? Did it motivate you to try and be like, you know what, I'm going to make more money, I'm going to make as much money as I can? Or was it sort of, take you back into a shell?
Okay, I think, to be honest, one thing it made me hate rich people, you know? Like I hated people I didn't realize it until much later in life, but I remember when I was in campus or when I was in high school, and my dad would be like, yo, listen, you can't afford to get expelled with those other kids. Me, I can't afford to take you to another school. You know, so like you have to be very careful about how you stepped, even in campus. Like how, so guys are like, hey, let's go out. I'm like, yo, I get very little money every week when I'm in campo, so it's very little. But I remember I used to find people. So I used to like rich people. I used to find them very entitled. I'm like, what do you mean? Let's just go atafanya. I hated the rebellious nature of rich people. Like, why aren't you sticking to the rules? See, we agreed. We were told we should be doing this. They're like, when you lazima tufanya, I'm like, what do you mean let's riot? Why? Like, can you guys? Alafu nilipisha hii pesa yote. Yeah, I think my folks really put me a fear of don't take risks, man. Like, hii usikue. Yeah, like the stakes are too high for you to. You're not like they're not like us.
Okay. Yeah. So how do you then decide what you want to study? Did it have anything to do with a career that you had seen and thought there'd be money in here?
So now when I was in school, I wanted to be a journalist. Okay. Like I'd watch TV and I'd be like, you know what? Over time, and I'd gotten a big mouth, so I was like, you know what? Like I said, I was chairman of the debate club in school. So now I said liking. So I was like, you know what? I think I could be. There's a journalist called Watson Karuma. Then I think he came to school and did a career day, and then he talked about his work, and I was like, you know, this sounds like a cool job. So I wanted to be a journalist, but then I passed KCSE, so. And then I was called to do journalism, and then my dad was like, you don't get an A and then become a journalist. That's I was told celebrities will just take your job, blah, blah, blah. So now I had to be like, okay, so my folks are like, no, let's just go and do law instead. So, but then I was like, even law is not too bad, because also I'd been getting of the safety nature of what a law career would really. But the narrator in my story, it was not, in fact, a safe career. But, but at that moment, law looked like something very safe, something guaranteed. It had money, it had prestige. It just had, so I was like, yeah, you know what, I could do this, yeah.
But if I was to sort of try and ask you, see if you can jump into your folks' position, what's the thinking behind, no, don't take journalism, take law, because, like what is it that law, in their perception, is more prestigious, or there'd be more money to be made? Like, what's the thinking around don't do journalism, do law?
For our folks' generation, I think doctor, engineer, lawyer are other people around them who are living the good life.
Yeah.
Like, because you only project to your kid what you know.
Yeah.
So like when they look around them, doctors were doing really well. Lawyers also are doing really well. Like the ones you see all the time. They're the ones who have been eating everyone's money.
Yeah.
So for them it was like, how do I ensure my kid has a stable future, right?
Yeah.
So when you say journalist, is like,
so that
was
I feel like that doctor, engineer, lawyer have the biggest PR.
Yes.
For a certain generation and for a certain time, because, and this is when I say that, and this is the respect to all doctors, lawyers, and engineers. At Kenya School of Law, I remember one of our lecturers telling us, and this again is respect to people who live in Rongai, but he was like, there are lawyers in Rongai.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, there are lawyers in Rongai. And it was just that thing of, there's this perception that lawyers do very well, but they're spread across the social class. There's lawyers at the top, but there's people at all of these tiers. So my point is, like I feel like there's such big PR of you'll make money or do this, but you also may not.
You struggle like you see like when we were in school, and there's this lecturer, I don't remember his name, but he used to always refer to something he called the pyramid.
Yeah.
He'd say, when I look into this class, I'm going to draw a pyramid for you.
Yeah.
Then he'd say, like, there are lawyers who will be here.
Yeah.
There are those of you who will be here. So this one time, this drunk guy walked into class, and then he almost barged into him and sat down, and he was like, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I refer you to the pyramid. It's like that.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess whether it's true or false, it is what it is. All right. So you then decide to pursue law.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So in uni, is it typical your folks are giving you pocket money or whatever the case is?
Yeah.
The typical uni life. Are you making any money at all other than what your folks are giving you in uni?
In uni, at first, no. I'm not making any cash outside. Also, I don't have many demands. Like, I'm from Nyeri. Like, Nairobi is huge for me. Like, this is just, like, what's happening. It's just So, I think I used to get, like, life was good. My mom would send me, like, my dad would send me, like, 500 shillings a week.
Yeah.
And as long as he was, like, nimelipa hostel.
Yeah.
Make sure si wamekupatia breakfast na dinner. Where kazi yako ni lunch.
Yeah.
And he went, my dad was, like, he went to the hostel and was, like, because my dad did not believe in, like, in luxury or anything like that. Mm-hmm. When he first came, he was like, what is the cheapest single hostel I can take you at? We walked into some room and then we saw like, sijui kona watu wangapi sharing, sijui kona sijui watu sijui 6 sharing. Hamna 10 sharing? Like he was, him is like, I've sent you to read. Why are you being, as long as you have access to school, the library, what else do you need?
Yeah.
And then he went to the cafeteria, he saw like, ugali ni 5 bob. Alafu unaongeza sijui sukuma ya 10 bob. Well, you're living the good life.
5 sock a week is fine.
5 sock a week is good.
Yeah.
But I think, and then also, because it was just before I turned 18. Mm-hmm. So I didn't have access to M-Pesa. You see. So he'd send cash to my cousin who worked in Westlands, karibu na uko Parklands Baptist, close to Rafter Road. Mm-hmm. And now my school was Uko Parklands.
Yeah. So
I had to walk from
the school to his place
to come to my kuzo.
Yeah.
Anipatie ile pesa ametumiwa. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was so until I finally got access to a proper ID, and now I could finally like transact pesa. Yeah, that was one of the happiest days of my life. Because now that trek, I used to love the trek because I always used to walk around and be like, oh my God, I hope one day I go to Westlands. I hope Parklands is such a nice place. This place. I used to see the buildings, and just be like in awe of.
So you grew up in Nyeri, like
born and bred.
And up until you're coming here for uni.
High school I came to Kiambu High.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But generally born, bred, Nyeri.
Yeah.
So I'm like when you talk about rural trauma migrators, that's us.
Yeah.
The ones we are the Mexicans you should build a border for.
Yeah.
We came to take your jobs. Like,
Okay. Yeah. All right. So when do you actually start making money for yourself?
So I think campus, I used to like poetry a lot. So I write a lot of poetry. Because when in school, when guys were writing mail, there was a guy for calligraphy, there was a guy for... My handwriting was bad. So when I'm writing, I'd be the one who would tell guys what to write.
Yeah.
But I couldn't write it myself.
Right.
So I could just, like, somebody's writing, and I'm just going across the room. Tell her her eyes are like... No, scratch that. Tell her her eyes are like... So I found... I got spoken word... I got into a bit of spoken word. So I could attend some of the gigs. I really used to enjoy it. And then I decided, you know what, let me get into... Can I share some of my poems as well? And then as I started getting better, some gigs would get paid like 300 bob. So like, I really saw there was 200 bob. So there's some weekends you'd get 1,000 bob. So now, and that was a lot of money because that was double my pocket money because of just being good at writing. Yeah. So then my money was going where to play FIFA.
Yeah.
Like I didn't enjoy. I didn't go out, so it was like I had a very basic ass life when I was in camp. So the first time I think I make money is from
the spoken word and
from
the poetry.
Spoken word, right?
Yeah.
Then another time is when we went for judicial attachment. It was a time when there was a purge in the judiciary. So judges were now going to be told like cases are. So we found a justice, the High Court judge in Nyeri. He told us he's going to give us something small if we go and summarize all his cases. Like a bunch of files. So like we spent like 3 weeks and then like just cases and then like what the case was about, who are the parties, and the reasoning and the decision. So like every file hapo juu yani akienda kuuliza maswali na J whatever RC, he kind of has a clue on what to say. So he told us, don't worry, he'll sort us a good one. We started making, we were making like, we were thinking, oh my God, and then I'm going to go probably, then I'm going to buy this new suit when I go back to school. I'm going to be looking good.
Right.
So finally when the day came, so
you guys did all of the work and finished.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did all the work. Like for 2 weeks after judicial attachment, we went ahead and we did so much work for him. So finally we get to the place. He comes, he says, guys, thank you very much. You've done a beautiful work. So that he reaches into his pocket. So all of us are... we were like, how many guys? We were like 3 guys.
Yeah.
Or 4. Then he takes out 5,000 shillings. Not even each. He plays with them, we're like... Now we can't talk because he's a High Court judge.
Yeah.
Like, okay, thank you, sir. Then he says, you guys are going to be great lawyers. See you in the future. Then he leaves. I'm telling you, we just waited for him to tap. Isn't it? 2 weeks mazet nimefanya kazi yangu hapa. And then there were also guys who were, me at least it was good for me because the judicial attachment I chose was at Nyeri High Court.
Right.
So it was easy for me to just come from my folks' house
and do the work.
So the guys who had looked for a place to live
to be able to get this work done.
And then they were getting 1,000 bob for that week's work.
Oh my God.
It was a lot of work. So we were like,
It's problems.
Yeah, so I think that was the first time now I think I made law money.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And so after you finish law school, do you go to KSL?
No, I don't go to KSL.
What
happens is there was something, we used to do something called project work.
Yeah.
So you write a thesis.
Yeah.
And then you share. And then there was a soft copy and a hard copy.
Yeah.
So you used to burn the soft copy on a CD then. I don't know if the Gen Z know what burning on a CD means. And then you would then have the hard copy as well.
Yeah.
So they can check if there's plagiarism and all that.
Yeah.
Right? So now we send it in and then we are waiting for as way to graduate. So suddenly one of my lecturer calls. She's like, hey, am I talking to Anthony? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, so your soft copy is blank. It's not working. I'm like, oh, I'm really sorry. Let me just bring a copy. And then she's like, no, listen. If either you come with your laptop, and if it works on your laptop, it's fine. Or if not, I'll just assume you've plagiarized your whole thesis.
Paper, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not doing that. And it was just because some guy in a cyber cafe didn't burn it properly when I turned it in. You see? So I tried haggling. She said no. So I didn't graduate with my people when I should have graduated because of that. And then there was a tinge of racism. She was like,
so she said she was gonna fail you essentially.
Yeah, she failed me. like she was Eastern European-ish. But then she was like, yeah, I'm only taking what you submitted on the date of. I'm not taking anything that will count as a late submission.
Yeah. And
I'm like, like what? It was so confusing for me. I begged. She said no. So that time my dad had saved up my dad was not in a good place because my mom was really sick.
Yeah.
So my dad had sold his car so I could go to KSL. You see? So now I'm told, Checky bro, you can't go. So my dad's like, so yes, he could spend the money with other things. He also has other children.
Yeah.
So now he then so now I'm waiting for that year outside.
Yeah.
And I'm not even like waiting for anything. I'm just waiting to resubmit the same
thesis.
The same thesis, you know. So now at that time I met this guy who I hear now this NGO was like a faith-based NGO was looking for interns, right? A legal intern. So then they had a program, an internship program they had, and then I was like, let me apply. So there's someone who knew me from before that was like, yeah, I think you're kind of sharp around this thing, so let me push your name forward there. So we go, I do the interview. At the same time, there was something used to call Fatuma's Voice. Fatuma's Voice was like a poetry thing that was happening, and they wanted a host. So now we went through all those things, and then so I was applying for the host job at Fatuma's Voice, and also this faith-based NGO needed someone to help an internship program. So I got Fatuma's Voice did happen. And then, like, I was praying to God, please, let me fail the interview at the faith-based NGO. Please let me fail the interview. But then I got it.
Why didn't you want to go? Why were you praying to fail?
No, I didn't, like, it looked boring from the outside. So, like, I wanted, like, Fatuma's Voice looked like a really interesting thing to do at that time. So what happened was I got the internship job. So now I'm getting a job as an intern, right?
Yeah.
So they were paying interns like 20 G's a month. So, that was a lot of money. I never touched such money in my time. Yeah. So I was like, hey, this is a. At first I didn't like it, but when I got inside there was also a lot of traveling up and down across the country. Yeah, we are going. That's the first time we Lipanda Dege. Like, okay, maybe this job is not too bad. I started enjoying the job. I remember telling, because my first salary ever. I bought mangoes with my first salary.
Mangoes?
Yeah.
So like this first 20 G's you've been given?
Yes. Okay, not all of it.
You bought mangoes worth 20 G's.
like let's say like 2 G's worth of mangoes. Because when I was growing up, my mom always made us share the big mangoes.
Yeah.
You see, she was like, hey, you have to share. So I always used to tell my mom, nikipata kazi.
My own mangoes.
Nanunua maembe zangu na kuna mtu ananiomba. And true to form, nilienda.
Yeah.
Pale Yaya, there was a lady who was selling mangoes there.
Yeah.
So I don't know, 25 bob, so hizi zote ni pesa ngapi? Funga kazi. My small cabin sitter ilikuwa inaduka kama I smelled like mangoes. Even my damu, I thought I was smelling like mangoes for a whole time. But then I think so that was the first. So now this is how I end up not even going to KSL.
Yeah.
So a year passes.
You resubmit your...
I resubmit my... So the guy I resubmit to is a new lecturer.
Yeah.
After a while I call him, I'm like, hey, you've not given me any feedback about it. He's like, no, because it's a good one. You got an A. He offered me a job because of the thesis. Right? I think it was called Wambua Kituku. So, but that's surprising. Where he offered me a job was the same building where I was working. So like I'm walking upstairs.
Yeah.
Then Chini
is...
But then his was not as stable. It was like a one time. So like, okay. But I was happy. It was very vindicating doing that. I'm not dumb.
Yeah.
So now I graduate. So I think that time hata pia Kibuja pia alikuwa na shida za hizo time. So we graduate the same time with him.
Okay.
When we graduate, I'm excited. So then I tell my dad, now I want to apply for KSL. And then he tells me, hey, bro, sinado.
It's gone.
Sinado, yeah. Like huko. But now at the same time, for me to call him, what had happened was, at the internship job, someone was leaving. The guy I was working under was leaving.
Yeah.
The program officer was leaving. And so they were saying, can we offer you
the position?
Yeah, I was reluctant to even do the interview.
Oh, because you knew that KSL was supposed to come.
Yeah. So like, I was like, hey, I'm not sure because I'm planning on going to KSL. So now but I still did the interview not to make my senior boss mad.
Right.
So I did the interview. It was really fun. And it was okay. The interview was not fun, but I was not as serious as I should have been because I remember when they asked me.
Yeah.
After the interview, they were like, "So what? Why should we give you this job?"
Yeah.
I told them, "If you give me this job, because I'd held over for that person who had left for a while.
Yeah.
I told, if you give me this job, nothing changes. Like it will be like this interview process never happened. I just go back, I continue doing what I was doing, and life continues. There'll be no training, there'll be no anything. It will be like a smooth sailing."
Yeah.
And they laughed. They're like, "Who is this person?" But anyway, they went on. I was like, but then, so I called my dad. So I tell my dad, I've been offered a job, but I don't know if I want to take it because, KSL.
Yeah.
My dad is like, I think you should take the job. I'm like, so, what do you mean?
I take the job.
But what do you mean? I'm just saying, maybe you should take the job.
Yeah.
I was like, so why? Why? Have you ever seen that meme?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but I don't have the cash.
I don't have the cash
now.
Yeah.
Your sister is about to start campus and
yeah.
And when you're the first born, you kind of take some L's and some hits.
Yeah.
So you're just like, okay, you know what? Let me take this.
Yeah.
Let me take this hit. And then so I became a program officer.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was telling myself, let me just go for a year and then maybe watakuwa amesort kitu. Because it doesn't steal a lot of money.
How much were they paying you now as program
At that
officer?
time it was like a net of like 45, 50 Gs.
Okay.
You see? So now,
and at this point in time, you're handling your own expenses, like
yes,
where you're living.
Now, of course, now my folks cannot send me any money. Now I'm a grown man. Now, now it's like, and also it was for me to move from like 20 to like 47, 50 Gs.
Yeah,
that felt a lot of like
double.
I had so much money. Like I'm like, what do I do with all this money?
Yeah.
I'm going to do a state house.
Yeah. Did you not think about potentially saving to pay for KSL?
At that time, no, because my dad had given me don't worry, you do this 1 year.
Okay.
Yeah, and even then, I think it was harder. Nairobi is hard to exist, generally speaking, right? Because now I had to buy clothes that looked like I worked there.
Yeah.
Now I had to start thinking about fare and like I couldn't live. I couldn't live in a hostel.
Yeah.
As an intern, I lived in a hostel. Still.
Yeah.
So now I had to look for a place to
a flat.
A place to stay.
Yeah.
So at that time, I was so hopeful of joining KSL. Mm-hmm. My friend and I had moved to Karen, like a place near KSL, because he was when Kampo he was like, so you move in with me still. You go to KSL, alafu I stay the year you'll be there.
Right. Also, you whatever each other.
Yeah.
Right. Subsidize each other.
Now here I am in the middle of Karen, uko mahali. Sida kwa kwenda.
Yeah.
And then the landlord there was a weird guy. Mm-hmm. He started giving us bills for electricity like 7 Gs. Mm. And we are like, what do we do? So it turns out he had a welding business by then. So wale watu walikuwa used to gawana. So we're like, okay, we're paying rent of like 15 Gs.
Yeah. And electricity of 7 Gs.
We're like, this is not making sense. When you call home, you say to Steve, like, ata hamna fridge. And then also, we're in a big estate.
Yeah.
So after a while, we're like, no borders.
Yes.
You start being kicked out.
Yeah.
So you're like, nikishuka penye natoka job.
You have to walk.
I walk. It's at night. Mambo zimeachiliwa. I have to fight dogs. I'm like, why am I doing adventure just to get to sleep?
Yeah.
I'm like, this is not the life. So eventually we moved to Ngong.
Okay.
Ngong was easy, but so I'm living in Ngong now, but I still work in Yaya. Mm-hmm. By Yaya.
That's a commute.
Yeah, but the thing is that time. The kulikuwa na Mat Street.
Yeah, it's essentially Ngong Road.
It's Ngong Road.
Yeah,
like me, I got to know Ngong Road so well.
Yeah.
Like even I remember when I talk to girls, they'll be like, "So where do you live?" I'm like, Ngong Road. I'm like, Ngong Road ikiisha tu hivi. When Ngong Road iishe, call me.
Yeah.
The moment you hear Ngong Road has ended, call me.
Then now we are where we need to be.
So we had to. So it was cheaper living there.
Yeah.
So we had at least. Hatukuwa na mambo mingi sana.
Yeah.
It was a nice house. It was like 10 Gs.
Yeah.
It was a 1-bedroom house for 10 Gs. So that we could live there and like 5 Gs the rent was not too bad. And I was making I'm making 47.
Yeah.
So and nashindwa.
What do you do the rest? So what did you do with the rest of the money? I mean, you bought your clothes.
I bought my clothes, yeah. But also I think you don't even have to keep track of the budget. I didn't think I did too much significant to the cash.
Yeah.
I just existed, but I ended up doing the things that Uber nilikula sasa.
Yeah.
Nilikaa nikaona hii pesa ya kwenda kila siku.
Yeah.
700 bob. I mean, so like an Uber from Ngong to my workplace was like 700 bob at that time. So I was like, 700 shillings.
I mean, if it's going back and forth, that's 1400
a day. Coming back, I didn't use the Uber, but going in the morning. Because I hate waking up. I'm such like, when it comes to waking up in the morning, I've struggled all my life around waking up. When I wake up, I'll be productive. Yeah. But the waking up itself
is the
that struggle. Part I've struggled all my life to be productive. So the take a budget, 700 times that. Okay, see nice man. Times 20 EV.
That's like 20,000.
Yeah.
Ilipatia Uber a month, every month.
Because of the guy, we have will this on convenience.
Yeah.
Like generally speaking, because of telling myself I've suffered a lot in my life. like why should I be then suffering again? Yeah. But that was one of the expenses. But let's say like 3 days a week, 4 days a week.
Yeah.
First becomes 3 days, you're like 4 days, you're like, I might as well,
Yeah.
But so eventually my housemate now moves. Mm-hmm. So now that house is nimeacha peke yangu. So the beauty thing was at work, we started getting allowances for travel, like per diems.
Yeah.
So I don't get a lot of money with the salo, it's still really bad.
Yeah.
But the per diems are now getting really, like, so the per diems you start getting, you get paid like 5 Gs for every day you are out of. Mm-hmm. So and then guys don't want to travel. They say, where have a familia? So I'm flagged.
So you're going everywhere.
And I'm eating on their bill and then I get paid. You see? Yeah. So kidogo unajipata 6 Gs. So you could make an extra 20 Gs or an extra, depending
purely
on the month.
From the per diem, yeah.
For the per diem, you'd make an extra 30, 20 Gs.
Yeah.
So that wasn't too bad. So now I don't want to, staki kukula chakula. Yani hii chakula ya nyumbani na taste flani.
Yeah.
I always say, ukitaka kujua someone who has grown up in poverty.
Yeah.
Mtu akikupigia boga vizuri. Unajua boga ina taste vizuri.
Yeah.
This is someone who had to make do of what. Rich people don't know how to make good cabbage or spinach or scales.
Yeah.
Sisi colored green skuma. Unatengeneza mtu iko na roiko, iko na that's someone who has gone through a lot of
you had to get some flavor. Okay.
So anyway, around that time is when comedy now inaanza kukujia pole pole sasa. Okay. So I'm now working. So I've just realized this going to KSL thing is a dream.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And I have to make do with, I'm an adult now. I can't.
Was that disappointing in any way? Do you then feel like you have halved your journey or halved your dream and the earning potential of as an advocate vis-a-vis as a lawyer changes?
Yes. Yeah. But also at that time, I was working in a lot of very good spaces for my career as well.
Okay.
It was exposing me to really cool places in my career as well.
Okay.
Because now I was working in elections. I was when people like Uko Bomas 2017, I was there. I was among the people who were observing. I got to visit the State House because now the people I was working for had a lot of access. So I got to learn a lot about governance and policy.
Yeah.
So now I got to start enjoying the work itself. Be like, you know what, maybe this is not my calling to go be an advocate and all this.
Yeah.
But advocacy and policy and politics, I was not really aware of it at that time. But then I started getting to know much better about how laws are made. I started interacting with people because now I had to go to Wasingishu and tell people this is LD, this is how public participation works. So I had to read. So now I could touch the common mwananchi. I hate that term, but let's say common mwananchi, and then go and dine with people who are because now you could see policymakers. So I started feeling like maybe I was part of
the process.
Yeah, but at the same time, Ngong Road ilikuwa ina. First, let me say there are these guys called BYSS, right? Mm-hmm.
Because you said so.
Because you said so, right?
Jason
because
Bruno,
you said so, yeah. So I always liked going there, but I always thought the tickets were unnecessarily expensive.
Yeah.
In my head, I was like, hey, ticket 3K, 4K. Then I was like,
improv.
But then I was still like, I still really liked them. I liked, there's a guy, Yafesi. Yafesi Busoke. I used to think he was the funniest person ever. So then I found out we share a birthday. I was like, oh shit, it's such a good. So this one time, BYSS have a call out for comedians. So I'm there, I'm looking there. My friend tells me, hey, I think you're kind of funny. Just try this out. So there's a girl I wanted to impress.
As usual.
I should eat a funny. Yeah. So I went. They were like sending an audition of you making a joke, and then, yeah. So this time I was mostly a spoken word artist, but I had gone. Sikuwa I enjoy sana because hakuwa na pesa. They were taking more than they were giving. Like it took a lot for me to go there. Then, I remember I was Slam Africa #2 champion that time because I was very invested into spoken word, and then it became very touchy. It became very walky. I was like, maybe this is not my
yeah.
So I quit spoken word. Then I went on to watch. So part of I get into comedy, but I still would host my friends' spoken word gigs as the MC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because what I did,
but you're not really making money from
no.
that.
But now when I host your gig, I'd get like, if you're my friend, you give me like 3 Gs.
Okay.
Then there's what time I made like 10 Gs gigs befuatana. So like I'm getting the per diem from work. I have the 10 Gs from
the hosting.
MCing, and then I'm still getting paid a salo.
Yeah.
So like now I'm like, I start sending money home. I'm like, yo, mom, how are things? Shikilia kidogo, because because my needs are not many, but I know they're struggling.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, don't worry. Oh, is my sister? But let me just send you guys money, and then so black tax basically.
Yeah.
I start sending some money home. It's like, oh, okay. So they're like, oh, tukona kijana huko.
So what are you saying? You're saying like 10 Gs, 5 Gs, 15 Gs, 20
I'm
Gs?
sending 10 Gs, some days 15 Gs. Like, if I get so they're like, okay.
And how are you justifying this in terms for yourself? So because you're saying your needs are low, like we've talked about, they're still
my
really
needs are low.
Yeah.
The income is high.
Yeah.
I'm not a lifeist. I don't drink. I don't like that. So it's like, so what do I do with this money? Senor? And then
so you're sending whatever.
I'm like, yo, I just sent some money home. Senor. The extras I send it home.
Okay.
I'm like giving it back.
Okay.
So cool. So BYSS, they have a thing.
A call out. Yeah.
Yeah. So I go, there's a call out, and then I make the cut. And it's because many people had not found out about it. I make the cut.
Yeah.
And then we go. Then I meet other comedians. So I find out there's a scene that's starting that has alternative comedy. It's not like Churchill-esque vibes. I'm like, okay. So first of all, I didn't do well at that BYSS gig. But I was kind of sort of maybe funny. But then
did you get to perform in front of people?
Yes.
Or this was, so also you got on stage?
Yeah, I got on stage.
Yeah.
I did my
How
jokes.
did it go? Yeah.
Did go well.
Do you remember any of the jokes you told?
I remember them very well.
Can you tell us one?
I remember one where I was talking about how guys only dance.
Yeah.
And then how when we are in our 80s and 70s and we all have Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
And then we can't stop doing. So like our grandkids are like, hey, Uka Brayo, what's happening with this? And then I'm like, you guys don't know how good it used to be. So maybe I can tell the joke better now because I've become a better comedian.
Yeah. People didn't laugh.
People are just like, hey, okay, like. And then after me, it was my own day who was coming to perform. It was my own day who had just performed, then it was me on stage.
Yeah.
So guys are like,
what's happening here?
Who's this guy? You see, so now.
What is it like to be on that side of the stage and to see people cringe?
Yo, there's nothing like that. Let me say. That thing haunts you all the rest of your life. Like you walk around like, is this who I am? Like you eat, you're like, why do I deserve to eat? Like, am I?
Yeah.
You become so philosophical. Like as humans, what's our point on earth? Like,
yeah.
But I meet other comedians, and they're like, yo, and then I meet, Elsaf and Jora.
Yes. I know Jora.
Yeah. So his late sister.
Off.
Yeah. So his late sister.
Yeah.
Was came to me after the show like, you know what? I think there's something there, but I think you're really funny. Yeah, but I think people didn't get what you were saying, but I think you're a really funny guy. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. So at the same time, what's happening? I'm going to church at St. Andrews. So St. Andrews that time they have a youth church, but they don't have a lot of youth yet. So it's still starting out, and they're like, so I meet my friend. She's like, do you mind leading service? So leading service was basically just up next, MC.
Yeah.
So PC is a very conservative-esque church. Like it's not your Baptist. It's not your those kind of churches. Like there's a way things ought to be done. So then I'd go, but then no one was willing to do it except me. So I had stage time, like for every month at least 4 times. about 3 times.
Yeah.
But I used to be very anti-PCA like in my hosting. I'd be like, guys, so don't forget, because PCA is like Disney and we have to sing a song before we do everything. So there's a hymn for the offering. And then guys would be like, okay, who's this guy?
Yeah.
So guys would always tell me, you know what, yeah. So 2018, this BYSS thing happens in 2018. And you know how when we go to church in the beginning of the year, like, please tell God something about the way you want. So I'm there and I'm like, you know, God, there's this thing I like doing. I really like being on stage. I like making people laugh. But I don't know what to do with it. I know it's very obvious now to be a stand-up comedian in my head, but now it did because I knew stand-up. And I'm like, see, but give me something to do with this thing.
Yeah.
I forgot that prayer and I went on in my life. So 2018, so this is August 2018, when I go to BYSS, and I'm not even funny. And then this guy is like, yeah, let's do this. But then I meet guys who are in the scene.
In the
They're
space,
like, there's a place you could come. There's a place called The Blues in town where every Monday we meet up and tell each other jokes, and then we can perform on Saturdays and Saturdays. I'm like, yeah, sounds good. Because Ngong nilikuwa inajengo hiyo time.
Yeah.
So kutoka Yaya kwenda Ngong was like a 5-hour journey. From like if you could leave at 5, you could end up getting home at 10.
Yeah.
So what I ended up doing was I'd go back to
town
on Mondays to just chill with the comedians.
Yeah. So
over time, I start learning comedy. I said, it's a craft. Oh, you can get better. We start writing. Yeah. So I get like a small gig. Because Mondays are open mic. You don't get paid as a comedian during open mic. You just show off your jokes. And if you're a newbie, no one will ever pay you in comedy. Yeah. You should pay them for allowing you to be on a stage. Yeah. So you get on stage, you go like, okay. And then my first gig, I was opening for someone. You know, comedy has headliners, openers, and the host. So the first gig I get, is a guy called Doug Mutai. So Doug had a show, and then he was like, I think you've been growing well enough in the scene. Come and just do a few minutes for me. So I did a few minutes. That's when I got paid my first comedy money. It was like 6 Gs. No, actually it was 3 Gs. It was 3 Gs. For me, it was the sweetest 3 Gs ever. Nimelipwa joke chekeshana. It was such a, okay, this is a good thing. Yeah, so this is 2018. So then I went back to BYSS because I'd become a better comedian. Yeah. And then I became the host of BYSS in a space of a few months. And then I was like, so by December 2018, I was hosting BYSS. And then, but then
how much would you get from BYSS? Whether as a comedian or as a hosting?
20 Gs.
As a comedian?
As a hosting.
As a hosting.
Yeah.
What about
as a comedian, they gave us like 5 Gs. So 20 Gs for hosting. Yeah. So all this is happening. I'm getting money from work. Yeah. From comedy. Like I'm in a good space, generally speaking. Now I can even afford to like move into a better house, you know, so I start like now my house. I start buying things for my house, you know. Like I'm like, okay, now like okay, mtu akiingia certain candles ni pesa ngapi? So like things you never thought you would. So ideally, so I think also my lifestyle changed because now I've been introduced to a certain lifestyle. Yeah, at comedy now. There's a lifestyle change in the way. What if I did like 40 Gs to exist as a person, I probably did like more to exist. You see? Because now you've exposed me to the finer things in life. I can't go back to. Yeah. I will go back sadly as my story continues. But anyway, so 2019, I think I become. I think towards the end of 20, I don't remember, but there was something called the Nairobi International Comedy Festival that someone was trying to start up, right? So during that festival. I'm like, hey, seriously, utachapa space. Then I was told there was a guy called Long John comedian. He was from Zimbabwe. Now he's in the States. He's doing really well. He was the guy who was featured. So I was told that when you are still new to this, that you're not kind of funny, vizuri, you'll be the first guy
who'll go up.
Yeah. So that hurt me so hard. Like my pride was so hurt by that.
At the time, you felt like you had put in enough work.
Yeah, like I thought I was funny. Like I was like, I thought I had good jokes now. Yeah. Then I was told, no, you. Utatuanzia when utakuwa opener. I hated it. It hurt my pride so much that I became a beast in comedy after that. I was like, what do you mean that I'm... So now I said writing, like I'm gonna be a...
I have a few questions for you there, right? What does it take to be an opener? Like if you're an opener for a comedy show, what's your job primarily? What are you trying to achieve?
You're the opener... Okay, if you're professional, the opener is supposed to be someone who's really, really good. Yeah. But ideally, at that time, let's say like, what was Jafika Bado? we're hoping more guys come in.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, you just go and so like first your jokes will, and the crowd is not yet warmed up yet for you.
Yeah.
So you're preparing the crowd for the guy who's going to come eventually.
Yeah.
So your jokes are just like, yeah, what's it? Even you're here. Oh, okay. You guys just walked in. Okay. Oh, even you're like,
yeah.
An opener is just a guy who, ideally they should be a good person, but normally it's like, it's just the guys before the guys who people came to see. You're a curtain raiser.
Yeah.
You know, ideally that's what you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my second question is, so how do you become a better comedian? And I'm asking, I mean, like, are there skill sets or skill points that you can pinpoint and be like, you need to do this better, this better, this better, this better.
Crowd
and this
work.
will make you,
I need to be better at crowd work, right? I need to be better at, a lot of it comes down to writing, but the technical parts of writing. Like, it's now, how fast can I make you laugh between when I start and when I finish? I don't have to give you a long story, then there's a laugh at the end. It's being like, hey, how are you? You know what? The other day, they sold, they got my local kinyozi for selling bangi at my uko kwetu chini. It's weird. Hata sikuwa najua ni kinyozi. You see, so that tap, I need to get you so fast.
Yeah.
By the time you get to, so it's shortening. When do you start laughing? No, and I started reading on comedy. So a lot of guys that time thought comedy was just a thing you became good at. Of course, there's that kind of thing where you're a funny guy.
Yeah.
But then I was like, I started reading books about comedy and about middle creativity. Yeah, and there's a book called The War of Art. Not the Art of War, everyone reads. The War of Art.
Yeah.
I talked about where like art is like a fight. Creativity like a fight. Like the hard part is not coming up with stuff. The hard part is sitting down to write jokes. The hard part is not even you what you do right now.
Yeah.
The hard part is not having the podcast and sitting and talking to me. The hard part is sitting down to let's plan for the podcast. Let's call. So it was like, if you sort out the harder parts, this part will come easier to you. So I started getting really good at comedy now. Now, nimetoka opener, Sadiko mid.
Okay. Yeah.
But I still don't have my own like ati poster on the face where I can be like, this we have come to see Ty Ngachira, you see. But then I got a bit lazy. As when I got good now, because now that it's coming, I got a bit lazy as well. Because at BYSS, I remember I went to a second BYSS and I said the same jokes I had said the whole time. Because that was like, I didn't even prepare. I'm like, I'm good at what I do. Like, I'm just like, and I could see the crowd complain that this guy is not putting in effort.
Yeah.
And that hurt me as well. Because like, professionally, you get hurt when someone says, I saw this guy 3 months ago, he's hosting the same show, saying the same things he used to say.
Yeah.
And the guys have come to see BYSS and I'm doing stand-up at an improv gig.
Yeah.
So but the stand-up better be good.
Yeah.
It wasn't good. So I was like, okay. So we talked with Jason. He didn't even tell me that it was a bad job. He just didn't call me to host anymore after that. I joke.
Yeah.
In his defense, I did do a good job.
Yeah.
So now, 2019 happens and COVID happens. So with COVID, you can't do stand-up comedy anymore.
Yeah. At this point in time, are you still working at
the
I'm
still working. Because now, put up the jam Gong Road, I get to go there to escape the jam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still working in the professional gig.
So how much, at this point in time, what's your net income on a monthly basis? If you'd like to give us an average of how much...
Salary has not changed.
Yeah.
Serio?
Yeah.
But now, I'm getting paid a bit more for comedy. So what was 5 Gs has become 10 Gs.
Okay.
What was a few Gs here, there has become... So now, let's say per net average, let's say like 70, 60.
Okay.
60 Gs every month.
Yeah.
70 Gs every month.
Okay.
That's not bad for me. But... those are the months which were like down.
Right.
So COVID happens. Now at my job, we start getting salary delays because guys have been sent home.
Yeah.
You see, guys have been sent home. Projects are not coming in as well. So some guys are told we are going to start being retrenched and kazi itasoka. But at that time, now niko Nyeri. So Uhuru alifunga nchi kama niko.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can do comedy. I can do stand-up comedy. So one day I take out my phone and I do an accent video. African accents, because I was good with impressions. That was my first viral video. I'm like, oh, come on, this internet thing can work.
Yeah.
But then I didn't think too much about it per se, because in stand-up comedy, there's a rule of you don't post your stand-up comedy material if you're still working on it. Because if you post it on, then you come and watch me do the same, you'll say, oh, Jamaa amerudia joke, blah, 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 blah. Then I'm like, now I'm bored at home. I'm still working because I get sent work on the laptop.
Yeah.
But I can't do comedy. Then I have some recordings of my stand-up. Let me post the stand-up now. When I start posting the stand-up, guys are like, yo, who's this guy? In Kenya, we have this kind of comedy. But I'm fighting with my comedian friends. They're like, don't post your material.
Yeah.
It's unprofessional. It's hacky. Because stand-up comedy is a very purist.
Yeah. Space.
We're not like sketch comedians. Sketch comedians, their primary goal is the internet.
Yeah.
I make like Crazy Kana, Flacco.
Yeah.
Their business model worked so well because ideally I just post stuff wherever I am.
Yeah.
And then guys will come and ask. But me, I want you to spend money on me when you come and watch me.
Yeah.
So I think...
So the fear there, or the thought there was that you'd be limiting your ability to monetize by showcasing your work because you can't come back and say the same thing.
So it's a very strange craft. But by showing you what I do, I'll make less money.
Yeah.
You see? But now the thing is, we have already limited your audience. So now I'm like, guys, I don't care. I'm posting my material. Yeah. Guys are at home at COVID, they're not seeing this guy. They're like, oh, where can I see this, blah, blah. So that time, Punchline with Eric had just started, but then COVID ikarudisha watu nyuma. But now there's that time, Uhuru akafungua inchi kidogo tu. Yeah. So now, ile kuna distancing, hamwezi gas juu watu wangapi kwa bar. Yeah. So for us, that was good for us. Because now I could come back to Nairobi, and I'm still working from home, but I still get to do comedy here outside. So now with Punchline, it becomes a gig now for people to attend that they can now have fun outside of. Because coffee was still at 10. At that time, we'll come and talk at 7, kind of 10. So you could still have fun until 10. So we were telling you guys we'll be done by 9, so you can make it home by? Yeah, by 10. Yeah. So it became a proper place for... But I see, it's open mic, you're not paying, so we're not getting paid. Yeah. So it's just a place for us to showcase our talent. Yeah. But now what it did for us was it became a place where celebrities would come and hang out to listen to comedy. And then became like, our comedy is not like, so it became a status symbol to enjoy our comedy. Right. So we started selling status. Like, oh, I'm not like, I don't listen to the other guys. I listen to these guys who talk in English and blah, blah, blah. You know how Kenyans are. Right. I thought it was dumb, but Do you feel it was I don't want to call it like a fight back, but a pushback to what comedy in Kenya had been perceived to be for a very long time. Not on purpose, but eventually that's what it became. Yeah. It became like, oh, what about Kina Churchill? Amateurs. But so it became a place where celebrities would start taking pictures. I was here. So it became a movement now, guys. Because Churchill had jafungua. Yeah. Because Churchill needed numbers. For it to sustain itself. Yeah. But sasa hawezi eka watu wote sijui 5,000 people. Yeah, because it's not possible. We just need 30 people. Yeah. And pictures people to take and say like, hey, I was here. Yeah. So now I remember, who was it? I think I remember Jon Stewart, George Dirango, and then Antonimo showing up. So that cadre. And then later on, BN shows up from Sauti Sol, Eugene Bogo. They're like, oh shit. Then like, everyone is now showing up to see. Nameless shows up. So it became the cool kids of comedy now. Yeah. But we're not making money yet. Yeah. So we have the status without the money. So it's really weird for us because everyone thinks we should be, making money somehow. Yeah. But me, I don't mind because I'm already making money on my job on the side. Yeah. So actually now, COVID has made donors stop giving money. Yeah. So now people start getting fired from where I work. Right. People start getting fired, and now I'm getting more work being put on me. But not more money. Not more money. You see? Yeah. So now sometimes I can't go to comedy. So now I start complaining. I'm like, hey, now even at work we are saying, hey guys, it's so sad seeing the person who used to be on your desk every day, you have to go. Me seriously because no one else has done law in the office. Yeah. except the guy who does corporate stuff like Shaman and Didi. Yeah. And me and governance. You see? Yeah. So I had a dish. Yeah. See, they like me, but
but did you never feel up until this point? Did you not feel like I want to make more money?
Of course, but now I'm getting excited but the thing is, they would always promise us more money is coming. Because now the NGO world is like, there's what we are reporting the donor they are paying me, and there's what they're actually paying me. You see, that the donor is being told this guy he has like 5 projects, and for every 5 projects. The program officer is being paid 100K, 200K. So ideally, I should make like 600 Gs a month. But they're paying me 40 Gs, 47 Gs, 50 Gs. See, so it's very frustrating.
So why are you living with it?
Because there's nowhere. It's COVID, bro. Where else do I go? You see, where else do I go?
Yeah.
So like your peers in that similar space are being paid 300 Gs.
Yeah.
You see, me, I'm still being paid 50 Gs. You know?
Yeah.
So now I had more money than my peers when I was starting, because we had to go
But
to
now
KSL. But now they've gone ahead.
Yeah.
I'm still in the same place I was.
Yeah.
Now it's hitting me. Oh my God.
What am I doing?
What am I doing with my money? What's happening? You see. So all this time, now this is 2019. Now 2020 we are in, and COVID is now getting worse. We're not sure if it's going to happen again. But now when we open again Vizuri functionally at the office, they don't add our salaries. They just tell us now you can work from home now. You see, but pesa yongezwi. But then it's like, okay, but you spend me an expense of up and down going there. So this is happening with comedy, and this is happening. So comedy side, I'm starting to get to be known in the comedy world.
Yeah.
But my world, the NGO is not getting good.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. I tell my mom, hey, I think I may want to quit my job because I feel like I'm being undercut.
Yeah.
So, but even them, they're having problems at the job because our donors are also withdrawing.
Yeah.
Now we are overpromising and
to try and get money.
Yeah, we can still deliver, but that's if we stretch the staff. To the point of like no return.
Yeah.
So once in a while you get like a good deal where like you start getting paid some bonuses for if a project goes well, but it's not counted as your salary. You see. So people are complaining, guys have families. We don't have a family, so I can imagine how these guys are living with the salary I'm getting. You see?
Yeah.
Niko na hii story ya do inaleta shida kidogo. So around that time was when I got the TV show.
That
TMI.
Yes.
And how that happened was we'd go and perform. Now we're performing at different places now because now I get the money.
Yeah.
So now I'm performing at different places
for money now.
For money now, and so it's not good money. I need a 3K, I need a 5K. You know, like now I'm going to make you laugh for whatever money you
will really
do. Like hey, so at where's Kosana? Because now I'm not getting paid on time. We're getting delayed salaries.
Yeah.
So now it's like I didn't copy you. You at where's Kosana?
Yeah.
So now we get. So now I'm struggling financially. Then suddenly these wazungus will show up. So they say they've been trying to have a satire show in Kenya for a while, but they've never found the right kind of comedian
to run it.
Right? So then they're told there's a group of comedians you guys should go watch.
They're coming up. Yeah.
So they talked. You know Eugene Bogwa.
Yeah.
Hosted them at what was number 7. Number 7 was a place where we'd
in town.
Yeah, in town where we'd go and do. He was trying to make us do comedy there.
Yeah.
Now number 7 was a horrible venue for comedy. Mm-hmm. Guys are stressed. They've come from town. They just want to have a drink and go home.
They didn't want to hear your stories.
Music in the bar and talk to their friends. So they're like, hey, Namaza hapo, I'm trying to tell you a joke.
Yeah.
So it was a hard place. Like it was a place where, hi guys, where umbo Namaza? Like it was such a hard place to do comedy. It was a place where you'd have to refine your skills for crowd work and be like, hey, ata bibi yangu kila siku anita hivyo. So now it became a place where you have to learn to roll with the punches.
Yeah.
Tukafika place where now these guys come and then I'm from work one day, I'm tired because now they say we have to go back to the office. Mm-hmm. I come and my friend Doug is like, hey, check it bro, kuna wazungu wamekama wataka kufanya TV gig fulani, si you perform ndio wakuone. Kama mwangalia hivi show me mazemia hiyo ni kama kunituma kwa slave auction bro. Then ni cut up dance for massa. I want to nipatie because now I'm stressed. Akasema no. So I didn't even go up. My pride, I still had a lot of pride.
You didn't go up?
Didn't go up. I was like, no, let them watch who they want to watch. But after that, I still met them. Like, hey, this is who. And then at that time, they were with Gado. You know Gado?
Gado, yeah.
So Gado Mwapemba.
Yeah.
So he was saying they were looking for, they want to do a satire show, but then they were looking for, so I thought it would be like XYZ. So I thought it would be the guys who were like, hey, where you like imitate politicians.
Yeah,
and then
right.
like, I can do some impressions, but I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. So this one time, Doug is like, you don't know what they'll call us, and then they'll do interviews for us. So I used to work close to Yaya. Mm-hmm. So I get a call. I'm told they come to Best Western, upper quality stage. Mm-hmm. We come and meet these guys who want to talk to you. Want to talk to you about want you to be part of the show. So the way they do their interviews is very weird. So I get to the venue. So the first week I'm always on time because they don't know how close it is to my workplace. So I just get there. Gado is not there. These guys are sleeping at Best Western.
Yeah.
So I meet them without Gado being there. So it's just me and some white dudes. They started asking me about comedy. And what do you think about comedy? So I've been studying a lot of comedy at that time. So they asked me about this comedian. What do you like? I said, I like the way he poses before his closes. I like all those things because I'd learned the technical parts of comedy because I started to love comedy.
Yeah.
Like, I hated now work, but I loved comedy because that's the thing that I started to enjoy. So now we are talking. They don't even tell me they're interviewing me. So when they come, they tell me, now when God comes, we are planning on a show. And so they're like, so I thought they wanted me to be a writer for the show.
Yeah.
Because so it turns out it's the guys who are doing the Daily Show with Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
His head writer was the one I was talking to.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, wow. Like, I just want to be in his presence and be like, yo, you know, like, we talk. And then I'm like, yeah, good. Do good. And then they're like, we'll talk to other comedians as well. And then we'll tell you if this is going to work.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, oopsie daisy. But now the problem is they don't tell me what role they want me to have on the show. Yeah. So a few weeks passed, I think you thought it was just a ruse. So my comedian friends start being called. Hey, want to be a writer? They say we're part of assignments so they can learn their style. Like, I think it's a very different way of... Ugo, you're not being asked for papers. Yeah. Because even those guys, they came with all the jokes they'd seen me perform
previously
online. Yeah. So the advantage I had was I was one of the only few comedians who was actually posting material.
Right. So they could actually see your
online.
Stuff.
So all the others were hiding their material. Yeah. So by me posting it online, they were like, we have reference. Yeah. Then they were like, what did you mean by this joke? What do you mean by this? Oh, minorities. Oh, no. So I started talking and explaining. And then I tell them I actually work in policy. And that's what they wanted to do. So now the two things that I did in life were meeting together to do something beautiful. Yeah. I was like, hey. So I thought I did really well. But then no, I wasn't called. So all my comedians friends
they're being called.
Me and Niko Apple like, anyway. Like, and I was honestly really happy for them because I had seen the work they were also putting in. So later on, one time I get a call from Gado. Hey, my friend, VP. I'm like, hey, I'm good. You know, I'm really sorry for not calling you earlier. You know, he has that almost Costarian accent that's also almost... for not calling you earlier, but Wajua, what we should have done, we should have been the first guy you be called, man. Manake, what we should have done, we think you're the guy, the host for the show. But there's some guys who need to be convinced, So it was a Wednesday, I remember I was at Punchline, I was supposed to host the show. Mm-hmm. So I went to a small room, I got then the guys opened, they were like, hi Ty, how are you doing? And they were like, would you? So like, I was supposed to prove to them that I was the man for the job. Yeah. But I asked who was I supposed to meet. Yeah. So I went and read up all the articles they did on satire. So I was just regurgitating what they thought in my words. Yeah. They were like, I think we have the guy. Yeah. So Kafunga said, okay, don't worry. So we're gonna start the show in the next month, and you don't worry. So nikaangalia, and I knew Kabeivana. I didn't even want to know how much they were gonna pay me. I didn't care. Yeah. I just wanted to leave the job I was currently at. Yeah. I was just like, I'm out. Yeah. So wakafika. Then wakadisappear tena. But then that time I knew in my life, like I went home that day, I was so happy, man. I was like, thank you God, thank you God, thank you God, I'm finally getting out. And now I was like, I'm gonna be on a TV show. I was wanted to be a journalist, but I'm a comedian now. It's gonna be a satire show. It's gonna be so cool. And then finally the time came for at work when they come, they're like, now we're negotiating pay. Yeah. They tell me, listen, we can pay you a lot of money, generally speaking. Yeah. So you itabaki sasa ujipange. So man, how much you going to pay? You're only going to pay me 70 Gs. Mm-hmm. I'm like, but that's almost the amount of money I'm kind of making here. Yeah. I'm like, hey, okay, I'm feeling bad, but I still don't want to leave. I'm like, okay, it's the same money and I don't work for too many days in the week. I'm like, yeah, so like, okay, Saba, okay, yeah, so we're only going to pay 70 Gs per episode. Whoa. No, 80 Gs, so like 80 Gs per episode.
So you say, no. It's per episode.
It's not per month. It's per episode. Oh, okay. You know what? Okay, if that's what you want, if that's where your budget is,
we'll take it.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
So now, So now I'm like 80 Gs. So now I'm like, you know what? What am I even still doing here? So now I go, I write my resignation letter. I talk to my boss. I'm like, I can't stay here, blah, blah. What am I going to be doing? I'm telling them I'm going to work for. It's hard for them to explain what I'm going to do satire. Yeah. So I'm like, no, there's another NGO which is funding. So I know the NGO which had funded some of that. They were like, okay, now. So now then I moved to, eventually after all said and done, now I start the job. Yeah. So I'm getting paid that. So then it ended up being like 70, not 80. So it's like 70 G's per episode. But I only work like 3 days a week.
Yeah.
I do what I love. I just, it's like, it was such a good time for me. In the beginning, no, because guys first hated the show. Like I used to get hate mail. This show unajua natafuta. Wewe hiyo show yako wangepatia Kengori hiyo pesa. Afanye show yake like proper hate.
Yeah.
But then at that time now I started getting, so now I'm getting money now. So first thing I do, I move out of Ngong. I'm like, no, this is not the life.
I'm out of here.
First of all, like, this is not the kind of life that I was. It's like, I go, I see a billboard of myself when I'm in the mat.
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I doing in the mat? Me and Matatus are done. We are finished. We are finished. So generally speaking, so I moved to a place in Langata.
Yeah.
So it was easy for me to shoot in South Sea. And then we'd write in South Bay and I go to South Sea. So I moved to Langata. And then Langata, I think the place I'm moving, I pay like 30 G's a month. It's a bigger place now. I'm like, it's.
But now you're making about what? Because 70 times 4.
It's like 280.
It's about 280 a month.
Yeah, 280. Yeah. So, and I still get some small gigs of comedy there. So, I think that time I'm making a month, let's say 300 G's a month.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's 300 happy G's. See, I had to wear it all my life. I had to fight.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
No, it's like, of course, I'm still working, but it's at what I love. See,
yeah.
And now you're getting some recognition outside there.
Yeah.
It's like, now even when you walk now, it's a different kind of walk.
Yeah.
Like you're in a music video for 3 months. So now. So I'm like, so now we're planning, and then we start. So by the time we're getting to the end of this of the show, now we're now planning for now. Everyone is going to get a pay rise. Yeah, you see, the writers are going to get pay rise. Hey. So now,
how long does the show run for? 3 months.
13 episodes.
13 episodes.
13 episodes, right? So I'm like, this is a good. So the first month is still feeling yourself out there. The last 2 months, you guys know how you should work. The system has now been put in place, right? And you guys love what you do. Because the guys had told us, when they worked in other places, the problem was finding people who could do the jokes. The technical part was easy. Here, they just had to find people who could do the technical better. So now we were, tulikuwa ni ndani ya maziwa. Unajua, like, people are saying hi to you everywhere you go. It's like, generally, like, I feel like you're walking, but it's like you're walking with your shoulders, not your... So anyway, we have to take a break after the first season.
Yeah. And what are you doing with this money? This 280 G's, this 300 G's a month. What are you doing with it?
First thing I tell my dad, listen, my stay is in KSL that time.
Yeah. She also does law.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I'm like, you listen, you malipa fee yake. Everything else is on me.
Yeah.
You see. But then as long as I don't live with her, because now my folks want me to live with her. So it's like, the life I'm not living no, it's not a PG lifestyle. Yeah. So like now I need you to. So I take my sister. She already found a house in Rongetel. No, I'll pay for your house and your upkeep. Dad will pay for your fees. So now that's the deal.
So a portion of money is going there.
It's going there, and then now I live in a more expensive house.
Okay.
Sindio. But then also as well now also like there's a place now I want to start seeing if I can now invest in like equipment for now. I want to start shooting online. I want to start a podcast. Like those things I want to now grow.
Right.
Now, but the problem is like, so I tell myself, okay, I'll do that in season 2. So season 1 ends shooting. Now we have to tweet out there.
So wait, sorry. So for the rest of your cash, you're spending.
I'm spending it on like, generally it's, but then I'm just spending.
You're not saving.
I'm not saving. Okay. No. I was saving because I'd been told to take a small break.
Yeah.
After the season 1.
Also, you're saving for when
when I won't have an income.
Yeah.
Until we get to
season 2.
So
yeah. Okay.
So of course, let's say I think I'd save like 50 G's a month.
Okay.
I'd 50 G's a month, make a candle.
Yeah. Then take care of your sister. Yeah. Take care of rent, utilities, and then
so like 50 G's. To make a candle so that I can handle business. So I'd be told, don't worry, it's like to take. I was like, how long will the break be? Like I was just like another 3 months.
Okay.
And then now because of the election period.
Yeah.
Because that was the 20 Chebukati na Bomas.
Yeah. 2022.
Yeah. So you're what? So we are like, okay, cool. So this is how we can come and look for donors again, and then the next season. You see she does. So I'm setting 50 G's every month.
Yeah.
So we finish. So when we finish now, we say our goodbyes. The season finishes on my birthday. So they have a surprise birthday for me on TV I'm like, what the hell is it? I'm like, you know what? Even when I call my mom, she's like, hey, you know now, where you are in life, you need to get a wife. Because now, what are you waiting for? I think now you're doing well.
You're settled.
Yeah, so just get her. I'm like, don't worry, mom. You see shida. You see shida. Yeah, I don't think my problem is getting girls right now in my life. I have other problems, but not girls are not in my issue of problems.
Yeah,
attention from women is not my.
It's not your priority.
It's not my priority right now. Yeah.
So an interesting question at that point. Do other comedians feel like you deserve where you're at? The reason I'm asking this is because I remember the show.
Yeah.
I remember I remember being told around the money that was spent around the PR for the show, the billboards.
Yeah.
It was big.
It was big.
And I don't think there's been another one like it.
Yeah.
You know?
So what happened was the comedians in my scene, they had no problem.
Yeah.
They had no problem, honestly, because we've been working together, and also they got jobs as writers.
Right.
They were correspondents on the show. So they loved the show. Like the show was, if you attended the show, we used to pay you to attend the show to be part of the audience, 1,000. So the upcoming comedians were bringing their dates. So in our letter, and then they had no problem.
Yeah.
The bigger problem was the comedians already been established way before me. Yeah. Like the Churchill-esque comedians, the guys who were in the game at that time. You see. So like, who is this guy who's even gotten this? Only nani umse, you see. So there was a big problem with, he's a plant, little industry plant. Then ikaitwa, akona wase nation.
Yeah.
Kuna wase uko nation. Also at that time, Dr. Kingori had this show. Yeah. And people, at first, people thought it was a very similar show. Eventually, guys learned they were not similar. It was just that we were both sitting on a desk talking about news. Yeah. But so when it started, then because first it was on the same TV station. Yeah. But now I've gotten Churchill's time. Yeah. Prime time. So now, wanauliza, so I think his team thought that NTV were using me to kick him out. Yeah. You see, and that was not the case at all. Yeah. One of the fathers took us up to water. I not even met the guy. Yeah. So we were just doing our thing. I was not even he was shooting at NTV studios. Yeah. As we'd shoot elsewhere, then to Napeleke. So I was not at, and now we were not. NTV was not paying us. Yeah. You see,
you guys were paying for the
airtime. And we were not paying for the airtime. So the deal was we give them a show, a funny show, a good show, but then they don't pay us, but then also we don't pay them. So as we sort our own bills wherever we are,
they sort out their
they sort their own bills. See, so now. It was like, but now with the Kingori show, NTV was the one paying him for the show. You see, so it's like, okay, then where have you brought this other guy for? The politics around it was, I remember one comedian from that same issue yako ndio wanataka kuleta mambo ya LGBTI kwa nchi yetu wakitumia show yako. I'm like, what? Like then the other one I got was the people who deserved it more than you, people who have been in the game longer. You see, so people didn't, and then also getting the Churchill show spot. That was not a good. So the first
politically it was.
Yeah, political. The first 3 episodes, guys were like, "Uni nani maze? Jamaa nakaa jawa na mapua kubwa. Uni nani man?" So now, then but then people started loving the show now. Yeah, they started loving the show. Oh, we see the difference, and now you're being trained how to write by the guys who write for the Daily Show. Yeah. So the way they're telling you, listen, for every minute people need to laugh thrice. So you write the way you're going to write,
but in a minute people need to laugh 3 times. Yeah.
By the time this person is coming, people need to feel excited for the show. People, like the professionalism in which we were being taught how to handle this show, it was at a different level. Yeah. We were rapping in the middle of the show, introducing presidents. When we were talking about the presidents who the guys who ran for president were like 22. As we did the DMX. Yeah. It was Linda, Letitia. So now as we did that idea of the president.
A rendition of that,
Wajakoya meeting with the Bangi Spa. It went on and on and on. So now the show ends. Yeah. And now we take for big break for 3 months and then we come back and do now the proper show again now. Yeah. Now we have learned a lot. So now Shindani, I've saved cash. Yeah. I've quit my job. Yeah. So my only source of income is this show. Yeah. Higher. Kidogo we start getting news. So it turns out our New York guy gets Me Too'd. What the Me Too movement. So now he just come, he was everywhere. We met Safaricom, GKCB. Yeah. All those guys had started making commitments towards the show. Yeah. So after he's been Me Too'd, now calls are coming from New York of all the girls who worked on the show. Did anything ever happen to you while you were on the show? Yeah. Donors have started talking to each other. So no one can touch our show now. Because of the executive producer.
Is a Me Too guy.
Yeah. So now, hawajatuambia, wanatuambia tu bado, don't worry, we are looking for 3 months ikapita hiyo si shida. Sasa tunarudi. I don't know. November tuko huko mbaya sana. December, January, bravo. So all this time I'm using my savings.
Yeah, the money that you've been putting aside now. Yeah.
Sasa imeanza kuisha. I still live in the house, but I was paying like 30 G's for.
Yeah.
So I have to make lifestyle adjustments. Uzuri, because my face had been on TV, I'm getting gigs for comedy, which I can charge like, at time I'm charging like 20 G's a gig. But then they're far
and few in between. Yeah.
So, mazi, sasa naanza kuumia proper. Sasa, kimeumana.
And are you still paying for your sister stuff?
Now I'm telling my dad, listen. My dad is like, oh, it's like that. Okay, you do this, let her move in with you. So my sister moves in with me.
And your lifestyle has to change.
So my mom is like, it has to change. So they're like, don't worry, we'll send you some cash for like food. As long as you can pay your own rent, we'll send you some cash for like food and everything.
Yeah, keep stuff.
We'll give you an extra month.
Yeah.
So now my sister stays with me. So now kuna proper lifestyle adjustment.
Yeah.
Nimerudi kwa mat sasa.
Ubers forget.
Uber bado iko watch now, but sasa nimerudi kwa mat sasa.
Yeah.
Remember there's a time I'd come from comedy open mic, because you still have to, as a comedian, you have to constantly practice open mic.
Yeah.
Hey, mazee, niko pale, my friend drops me off pale Timol. So nichukua mada kwenda hapa Milangata. So nagoja hivi, then jamaa fulani wa mata kakuja. Kaniangalia, wangonga, ni wewe. I'm like, yo, wao ni jenga sana mazee, wazi. Lakini usikae hapo usiku huku msara zaibiwa. I'm like, Negro, you think I've chosen?
Yeah.
Now, what's happening at that time now, because I'm also, the comedy is known now, it's good.
Yeah.
I get an invite from the guys in, I'd performed in Tanzania now, because now I said, I'd gone to Tanzania to perform there, because there's a punchline in Tanzania, punchline there.
Is punchline now making money?
Punchline aside making money,
yeah,
for comedians, but not at open mics. You only make money as a comedian if you perform at a paid show.
Yeah.
You see?
And how many people are coming for paid shows now, on average?
It depends on the size of the show.
Yeah.
We can do one at a big theater, and then you can get paid like 40 Gs.
Yeah.
But then you can get one where it's only a figure game, so you get paid like 7 Gs, 8 Gs.
Okay.
And now you're fighting to be one of the comedians who's put on the poster.
Yeah.
Now because I'm a bit well known, siwezi kosa ka gig at least kila mwezi.
Yeah.
So at that same time, now this is relevant about punchline going to Tanzania, because now this is where I show you where I hit rock bottom with money.
Yeah.
Where I was like, what the hell am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
I get to, so around that time, Savannah, the brand, they call me up. They're like, yo, what's up? There's some stuff we want to do with you, la la la, and we want you to, so we are going to pay you a certain amount of cash.
Yeah.
So I can't say how much money it was, but it was good money.
Yeah.
So at that time I'd come from Tanzania. I had done a really good job there. It wasn't a paid gig in Tanzania, but I was supposed to give the young comedians there, the English-speaking comedians, some advice on how to do comedy and how to write for a TV show, because they wanted to do that for themselves. But then they take care of you the whole time you're there.
Yeah.
Your food, everything. So and also it's a good holiday for you to relax. So when I'm there, one of the guys tells me, yo, I think South Africa is the best place to be at if you want to be a comedian, an African comedian. That's why English comedy
is taking off.
Is taking off. So I'll pay for you to go to South Africa as long as you take one of my guys here. And we go and we have a good time. And Sindio, when I come now, but not that time, I come back a few months later, Savannah won't talk to me about doing comedy. So I do a few videos for them. They do really well. They go viral, everything. Sour. So now
this is like an influencer deal.
An influencer deal.
Yeah.
So now I know I'm not a guy who was posting a lot of, them they like people who come and consume comedy online. You see?
Yeah.
But they're like, so at that time, Savannah in South Africa was having they're the brand for comedy in South Africa. Savannah in Kenya wanted to go that route, but they didn't want to have the Itakuaje comedians. So now they approached me, we talked, and I was like, okay, I'll write a few things for you. So I had some Savannah videos up top. So at the same time, my guy has told me, I'm willing to pay for you, Pale,
to go
essay. So now I started to having conversations with essay comedians who had met would come to Kenya once in a while. And we start pangaing dates to go. Sindio? Panga dates, we say these are the dates. Sindio? So now, my guy in Tanzania says, that date does not work for me, but nisha panga date na huko. So I tell Savannah, but then I wanted to go to South Africa. Savannah, like, my manager is like, do this. Tell Savannah, I'm going to get a proposal. Savannah pays for our gig. Ty goes to South Africa. He's not comedian in South Africa. And we're going to have a good time here. So now Savannah said, like, okay, we are game. We'll pay for you to go to South Africa and everything. So I talked to South African guys. I tell them, send a letter to show that it's true. That this. So I showed them the letter. So I'm booked in places in South Africa. Here, Cape Town specifically. I'm like, okay, so good. So a few weeks before, like a week before, Savannah is like, hey, proposal to Japata. What you mean proposal to Japata? Bro, napata do yako do a ticket, bro. Nisha bukiwa bagi Google. What do you mean? Do yako am Japata? Hey man. So I'm struggling a bit financially, but I can see these are going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
Like sema tumeongea watapata kama 900k kwenda kurudi, me and my manager we go, we shoot video content, everything. I'm like, chill. Where? So these guys tell us, hatujapata hiyo proposal yenyu. My manager is like, ask my manager, did you send the proposal? He's like, me I sent it kitambo sana. Like hatujapata. So someone between my manager and Savannah, the proposal didn't go through. Yeah. So I've already been called in South Africa.
You've already been booked for gigs in South Africa.
And if I don't go, I'll never get booked again ever in my life. It speaks to my morality as a comedian. Sindio? So, pesa ndio hiyo. Nimeambiwa sasa hakuna kwenda. Since we are not paying, it's too late for. Someone eventually me, hey, listen, this is, by the time we process the things, it will be too late for us to go to Savannah. Yeah. And then planned, because at that time, the plan was I was going to go, because Trevor was going to perform in South Africa a few months before. So I was going to go, prove myself, and then Savannah, South Africa would call me to represent East Africa during Trevor Noah's tour. So that I was going to be on a tour with Trevor. Like, unajua hata uwezi ambia watu, jani umemetain tour, zi watu unajua unatembea tu, unajua nenda perform na nani in a few. Anyway, so Savannah like, hey, cheki, waka pull out.
And what happened? Like, what did you ever find out what actually happened?
So them, they didn't get the proposal. That's what they told them, hatujapata proposal. And the turnaround is two. And then we had a change in management. Ken is buying us. Hizo ni shida za politics. Mi niko hapa peke yangu. Nisha post Instagram. Watu kwa South Africa wamenigoja. Haya. Sijanunua ticket. Niko tu kwa Langata na I'm just spacing around. Na master zimefika sijui wapi. So that time I think I had been saving some small cash. I wanted to buy a car at that time. But I was going to pick up domo. Maybe like at 6. Like ile tu na I get set aside a few money. Pesa yote sasa nikajua you know what? Me, I'm going to Cape Town. Wapende wasipende. Lakini Cape Town mi naenda. I don't know how I'm going. I don't know, like nikaanza kutafuta. So I told my South African guys, I told them I'm a bit strapped, but could you guys help me out? They're like, don't worry. You know the comedian's lifestyle is like, as long as you get a place to lay your head, you'll be good. So I'm like, niggas they come when I say I see that kitu. So I call home, I tell them it's like this. My dad says me like 10 G's, tell me this is what I can give you. My friends ask, I start getting loans from my friends. So eventually, like me nisha sema siendi. My girlfriend at the time, she's like, we just had a relationship around that time, and she was like, so I tell her, because she's the one I'd been entrusted telling her about this thing. She's like, hey, yo, I believe in you, blah, blah. You know, like, she's like, okay. She also gives me some small cash to. So I booked a flight to go to Cape Town, and I was just calling to pull out. Like, I was like, 11 p.m. at 6 p.m.
For the same day?
Yeah, for the same day. KQ. So eventually I've gathered enough money just to kufika Cape Town, then your ticket
to go and come back.
Return ticket you buy. So niko nayo.
So you know you're going and you're coming back.
But how I exist there, I don't know how I'm going to exist. At least for up to, let's say, juu niko na kama 10 G's Kenyan.
When you land.
When I land. What? Eventually nikaenda hapo Cape Town nini. So the gap time on my way, I'm like, oh my God, I believe in myself. I'm chasing a dream. I really believe this. So the flight I got was Joburg, then Cape Town. So it's my first time in that country. I get to Joburg. So now so I can now wait for like a couple of hours and then we go to Cape Town. Turns out, after your flight, nilikuwa naenda nayo.
Inaisha Joburg.
So apparently, you have to go to another airport to get the flight to Cape Town that I paid for. KQ didn't tell me that. KQ just gave me a ticket that goes on the... Washakulipia huko mwingine.
Yeah.
So the airport is called Lanzeria.
Yeah.
So you're in Oliver Tambo, you have to go to Lanzeria. So na sijambiwa bado all this time. You said nikakuza, why is this cleaner was like, don't worry. It's all the same. Hey, siko najua it's the same. But kitu like, so the flight was like at 5 a.m. Ya kwenda saa Joburg to Cape Town. 4 a.m. niko like, wakaniambia, hey, cheki, this is a different airport, like Kombali. It's like far. I don't think you'll make the flight. But niko na 10 G's Kenyan. Siwezi afford ticket ingine ya kwenda hadi Cape Town. Sasa nimeanza kusema, mazee nikaambiwa like, so mimi nikasema tu Mungu nisaidie hapa. Nikaita Uber hapo ikaniambia sasa wewe kitu tutadu. We are going to take you from I don't think we are going to make it, but I'll try. Tulienda so fast. Yeah. You know the journey for how much? 3,500 Kenyan shillings. Ndio jue how far that's between Oliver Tambo. Yeah. Unapita get to the township zingine wa katikati. And it's your first time unachungulia TV unashindwa hey brother, I'm baptized. Paratula. I don't want xenophobia happening. I just want to get to the Lanzeria. So we get to Lanzeria airport. So I finally get the flight to go to Cape Town. When I land Cape Town,
so now you have 6,500 left.
I have 6,500 now. So I get to Cape Town. 6,500 shillings. Hey, nimezea kwa ile kadi ya M-Pesa. Unajua ile virtual kadi ya M-Pesa. Ndio niweze. And I think I have like, no, actually, I forgot I had 2 G's in my card. Ingine. So nikafika. So the guy who's calling me to come and pick me up from Cape Town is like, he told me to look for a place on book.com, booking.com. So nikapata a place bloody cheap. Uzuri huko, generally speaking, all the places look nice, even if it's a bad place. So I found a place called Queen Julie's. Did you Queen Julie what? What I don't know, it used to be a brothel. That's why it's that cheap. Now when I get there, the receptionist is Congolese. So when she sees my Kenyan passport, she speaks Swahili to me. Yeah. Ile Swahili yao. Wewe iko toka kule Kenya. Yeah. I'm like, I'm from Kenya. Like, karibu sana. So the reason that place was cheap was because they were still renovating huko. There used to be a bar there. And ukishuka, you come with your prostitute down there. Yeah. But now they have no prostitute at that time, and there was no one who could stay there. Yeah. So nimeangukia two places fulani inaitwa hivyo. So my guy who's calling me is like, he can't take me around because he has a family, but he gives me another comedian. His name is Vafa. Yeah. Take this guy around. Yeah. So Vafa comes over to the place. He's like, hey, my man, why are you sleeping over there? You're like, me in the this is like, So Vafa tells me, listen, just sleep over here tonight, but you can crash at my house for the rest of the journey. You'll be here. I'll take you around. As long as, promise me, when I come to Nairobi, you take care of me. Yeah. You see? I'm like, brah, you have been sent by God himself. Yeah. So now I crash at Vafa's house. He feeds me, and he gives me a place to lay my head. Yeah. So now, for that tour, I've been sorted. Yeah. But I still don't have any money there. Yeah. So now I'm going to perform in places where they say they'll pay you later on, and they're not even paying you a lot of money. It's like some guys they'll pay you like equivalent of like, some places they'll pay you like equivalent of like 20 G's, a place equivalent of like 15 G's. But you need the money so bad. You see? But what hard M-Pesa, they have to pay you with your bank. Yeah. You see? And then they have a system there where watakupatia code, then you go to an ATM, you put in that code, then you get money from. I didn't know about that system then. So Vafa, my friend, who held me down. A man we just met that day. Yeah. But we had a conversation about his personal life, and it went really deep, and it was like, I think we need to just come to my house instead. Yeah. So surprised, so when I get to South Africa, the first show, I don't understand the system too well. Like, I'm still funny, but because I had missed a show that I should have done the day I was coming because I was late. Yeah. But Nikaskiza, then I started now learning their culture a bit better. So the next shows, I killed that place. I was like, hey, where is it? Where are you from? Because there was a Kenyan comedian who had gone before me, but I didn't do too well. So they were like, hey, you're from Kenya. Hey, we don't know about you, Kenyan comedians. But then I went and did really well. So that was that, basically. I got paid kidogo money, but I only got paid when I
came back.
When I come back, my girlfriend is mad at me. She's like, I don't think you handle money very well. Like stuff like, so now tukakosana. around that affair. Yeah, Kwenda South Africa. She's like.
But what was the issue around handling money really well? Like, what was?
No, it was like, I think she thought I should have handled the Savannah thing better. You see, but and I would
fault? Who was at fault for the Savannah thing?
That's off camera. We'll talk about it. Off camera, I'm willing to talk about this. If you want to hear about the story properly, but that became a big issue because she was like, hey, these other comedians have just been with the president at that time, and I feel like you don't have a future with. Like, basically, she didn't use those words, but what she was saying, like, miss you on the future, bro.
Yeah.
Like, ile hustle umegonga huko, na nimetoka backpacking Cape Town.
Yeah.
So I think the point of that story was when I came back that time from Cape Town, that was financially rock bottom for me.
Yeah. Like you had nothing now.
I had like the money I had coming from here was money for my Uber from the airport to my house. I got to the house. I found what they say. They've not yet sent me the money still. But even if they send me the money, I'll just pay off whatever debt I have.
Whatever you had borrowed, yeah.
So I just started my house. Like, you've just finished a South Africa tour and you're broke. Like, you've made people laugh, you've made so many people happy, but you look like you're not serious with your life. So that financially, that was one of the hardest moments in my life.
Yeah.
So now I said, I had to do gigs for anything. Bro, you could pay me in tea.
And you
utanilipa na chakula.
Yeah.
Like,
what's the sentiment around other comedians at the time? Because I'm picturing you've done this, you've been the face of this big show, this TMI show that's been good.
Yes.
You're now in SA, and we all know how we project when artists and whatever's happening. So you've been on a tour in SA.
Yeah.
They don't know the back end details, so it looks very glamorous. And then now you're saying you don't have
cash at all.
You don't have any money.
Yeah, like I sat down. Of course, I had to do a debrief with the comedians. Like, this is how things are. First, I talked about the comedy first. Yeah. Like, this is how, like, the stand-up comedy scene there is so good. It's so matured. They want to do everything they should be doing, And I'm like, Kenya, if we get to South Africa, all of us will be rolling in proper bank. Yeah. So I'm telling them all those things because they're curious questions. So, like, of course, the financial system as a comedian in South Africa and in Kenya is very different. Mm-hmm. And I think Kenya will get there eventually, but it was good. It opened my eyes to a lot of...
How does it work there? If you're to try and sort of highlight some differences.
First of all, it's been older. They've been there for a long time. Mm-hmm. I met guys who've been in the game for 17 years. So generally, they have the gift of time. Mm-hmm. Second, corporates are willing to invest in their...
spaces.
In stand-up. For them, sketch is not as big. Here, Kenya, sketch comedy is bigger than stand-up comedy. Yeah. Their stand-up comedy is bigger than sketch comedy. Then Trevor, for them, put shone a light on South African comedians in general. You see? So Showmax, Netflix are willing to invest into South African comedians. And people are willing to spend money to experience comedy. Yeah. You see? So in South Africa, in Kenya we depend on, I put my stuff online, then maybe a sponsor will find me. Yeah. Uko, it's like, pay me to make you laugh. Like at the gate, you pay money, and it's enough to be like, their audience is big enough. Their English-speaking audience is big enough. Yeah. Here, outside Nairobi, it's harder to do a gig.
Like, what's the biggest comedy gig that either punchline or comedy or whatever?
The special I did this year, I sold out a museum twice, the museum theater twice. That's 300, that's like 350 people, that's 700 people. You see? So
at how much per ticket?
Like 2 Gs. Yeah. And that was now, I'll come back to that, but that was me like telling myself, after now South Africa seeing that this is possible, like I need to. So the South Africa trip killed me financially, but it opened me visually, like for comedy, like maybe there's something here, Yeah. And to also talk to the South African comedians, because so that was Cape Town. Yeah. So I chill. When I come back at that moment, now I tell my friends. So now the comedians who are close to my friends, I tell them, guys,
it's bad.
If you send me money to go, it will take some time to come back. Yeah. Please understand that. And I told them what had happened, everything there. But I told them I've made connections in the SA. And if anyone wants to go to South Africa, I've made enough friends that I can hook you up with this person to take care of you when they're there, you see. So that happened. So the beautiful thing was, away from, eventually I made enough money to pay off people and everything. But
and that money you're making from doing gigs?
Yeah, from doing gigs. I don't have a job. Like now it's like, Uzuri now going to South Africa also made me look like I am.
Yeah,
like, I'm also a big, like, so like now I could go MC a gig here and there, do all those things. So now, but it's still not enough. It was just enough to get by, you know.
Yeah.
Like I didn't die this month.
Yeah.
Like, thank you God, I did not die this month.
Yeah.
So tukafika mahali. So because of that Cape Town gig, later on in the year, I got called for the Bloemfontein Comedy Festival.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, we need a representative from Kenya. And you are really, we saw you last time. Now please come. Well, that was a different time.
Yeah.
Now this one, my expenses are paid for. I'm being paid to perform.
Yeah.
So now that was a much better
experience.
So I was like, at least that experience did count for nothing when I went for the next one. But now back to comedy here. Going to South Africa opened me up financially around comedy, where I was scared to ask for money for gigs when I was here. So now what it opened me up for was like, now what I charge you for comedy is not what I was charging before I went to South Africa.
Yeah.
You see? Because now I learned that what I do, not many people can do.
Yeah.
You see? Because me, I can custom write comedy for you and your organization and like, okay, who's the manager? What's his name? So now I'm going to spend time writing for... So now after that, people would come and ask me for a gig and I'll be like, I'm suffering, but I'll not take that small money.
Yeah.
I'll take the money that I'm choosing, you see?
Yeah.
So when you can't come and tell me that you want to do comedy for an hour and you want to pay me 10 Gs.
Yeah.
Do you know how hard it is? You know, MCing that can happen.
Yeah.
But stand-up comedy...
Yeah.
You know, to write stand-up comedy for 1 hour, it's like...
How many jokes would you say would be in a 1 hour set?
How many laughs?
How many laughs would you say would be in a 1 hour set?
It's like, you know, how, first of all, I'm competing with your phone.
Yeah.
I'm competing with attention.
Yeah.
You know, comedians, for you to write 1 hour of comedy, you wrote 3 hours, you took out the bad parts and you come back in a 1 hour.
Yeah.
Like, that goes... So when somebody, I'm like, bro, you know, you don't want me to be there for 1 hour. I always tell them, no, you don't want 1 hour of comedy.
Yeah.
I can come and do 20 minutes and then call other people. But then... Because you see, like, to do like 1 hour of comedy, you'd have to be like 200 to 50 Gs, you see. So I tell you, let's work with 20 minutes. Pay me 50 Gs for 20 minutes of comedy.
Yeah.
You see. So that way, the way that works is, I tell you that my rate for MC is not my rate for comedy.
Yeah, those are two different
jobs, yeah?
Yeah.
And MC, I'll call the person who's next. I'll make you laugh, of course, I'll do jokes here and there. But for you to start see here and call me, hey, Ty, I want you to perform comedy for 1 hour. Doing comedy for 1 hour is one of the hardest things you'll ever do, generally speaking.
Yeah.
Even you will tire seeing me for 1 hour. And you've laughed. But so I had to make it a distinction that when you call me, do you want a comedian or do you want an MC?
Yeah.
Or do you want a hype man?
Yeah.
For a hype man, nitakupatia namba ya Kibuja.
Yeah.
You see? Do you want a comedian or do you want an MC? So if you want an MC, I don't MC weddings.
Yeah.
But I MC a lot of corporate gigs, I MC a lot of people's birthdays, I MC a lot of game nights. That's I'll MC for you.
Yeah.
But for comedy, that's a different rate. So I had to make sure with the client now, that's a very different rate from how it speaks here.
Yeah.
So I think it's and getting clients to understand that has been quite because clients once when they call you, they want a hype man with a DJ who make us dance, who then after that will be the corporate MC.
Yeah.
And that will also do comedy for 2 hours.
Yeah.
You see? And then they want to pay you 20 Gs. And I'm like, you are Tanzania, where's the lipo?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was...
So how do you then, I guess, if we were to sort of try and get your story to where you are now, how do you then get where you are now? How do you then start meeting your costs? How do you then... Yeah.
So right now I do comedy full time.
Yeah.
And by comedy, I don't mean stand-up comedy. It means now because people have seen the beauty of writing for humor.
Yeah.
So now, let's say if you have a film you're writing,
you
need to be a bit humorous.
Yeah.
Now I'll come and help add humor for you. There's a grant you're like sometimes I've gotten grants for messaging around with humor, but not being on the nose. You know, like let's say you want to pass a message around the constitution. So
yeah.
I just come and tell you, Katiba ni bora. Katiba inafaa. See, so now I have to pass messages for you, which you don't realize I'm passing a message for you without you even realizing that this is what was happening. You see?
Yeah.
So a lot of work I engage in. Stand-up comedy is still my main hustle.
Yeah.
But on the side, I also do a lot of course, the MCing.
Yeah.
But a lot of comedy, the writing itself.
Yeah.
Like I'll help you write scripts. I'll help write TV programs. that necessarily, and even international, like someone from South Africa will want what does the Kenyan market think about this?
Yeah.
Now, it's not copywriting.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it is basically humor. So like what we were taught by the guys on the Daily Show is a skill that has really helped per se.
Yeah.
So right now, the income I now make is all comedy related. Yeah. Nothing law related anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, of course, if you're a content that needs looking at, I might.
Yeah.
Or if you're an entertainer who I need to get looked at, it could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What about how you spend your money? Like what was it? Have you now ended up investing, putting your money aside, saving?
I think now it's easier because I think that South Africa thing, when I was rock bottom, it made me go back to basics.
Yeah.
Like it was now, because the thing with what we do, it's not a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
Some months will be really good. Then you'll go for a few months and almost get barely nothing. And then another month is really good.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do I need? Like, first I need a full fridge.
Yeah.
Basics, right? Health insurance. Those things you never thought you. Then from there on, now for me now investment comes in investing in other comedy things, right?
Okay.
I'll be like, other comedians may need help with the comedy. I could train.
Yeah.
Like my work for training. Sometimes I go and train people how to be funny.
Yeah.
You're a speech writer, you want to be funny, I'll train you. So the way I invest is not per se mashamba na nini, is back into my craft. You see, it's like I'll allow people will come and tell me, I'll tell you, like someone will come and tell me they want a gig done. I'll tell you, I'll bring you these comedians for this amount of money. So I go and talk to the comedian, tell you, I'll pay you this amount of money.
Yeah.
For this gig, you don't have to talk to this guy. The money is just me. Let me worry about how I'll deal with this guy. You see? And then you just worry about the comedy. Because the problem is, when ukikosana mtu you're supposed to make them laugh, it's hard. Tumekosana afu enda ukawachekesha na hujanilipa.
Yeah.
So a lot of the investment I've done has been mostly back into my craft. Yeah.
Okay. So as we sort of wrap up, just two quick things. One is, so what's an average stand-up comedian in Nairobi making? And then finally is just, so, in terms of the potential to make more money in the comedic space, what do you think is going to happen in the next couple of years?
I think the guys who may be earning like 250 G's a month.
Right now.
Yeah, but there are also guys who are earning like 20 G's a month. It's like, so what's the average? What does the average lawyer learn?
Yeah.
But I'm saying, I think Churchill is back now. So I think we'll start seeing a lot of guys trying to hone their craft there. But the future is, the last few years has been us trying to create a culture for stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Telling guys, first we exist.
Yeah.
Telling guys, for us, it's just building a larger consumer base.
Yeah.
Once you build a larger consumer base and we have enough for them, where we have enough comedians for them, we want to get a place where Nairobi should have at least 50 comedians who are stand-up comedians who are consistently working. Building more spaces, more venues for that, so that we get to a place where, no matter what part of town I live in, there's a place I can go and laugh at the end of the day. So Wayakiwe guys, Langata Road, Kiambu Road. So that's the thing is, more spaces, bigger audiences, and also the tastes of Kenyans are getting a bit more complex. So now the guys who are coming out of school now, the guys in campus, the guys will end up being our new market. Yeah. So I think in the next 3 years, I think we'll have now like where it's okay for the average stand-up comedian to make proper bank. But for now, you still have to be at the very top to make proper bank. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, I think the space is definitely growing.
Yeah.
I mean, we see the events are definitely becoming more and more. I think it's promising in the next couple of years. I mean, if you're saying you did a show, sold out 700 tickets.
Yeah.
I hope you broke even at that event.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Events are tricky. But if you're selling out 700 people who are coming to see your show, I mean, I mean, that's a good place. That's a good place to be. So hopefully, the next couple of years it grows.
Yeah.
And we'll have you back here a couple of years from now.
Yeah, maybe 2029. Call me.
see what the growth in that space has been like. But thanks for shedding some light on what the comedic space looks like here, and sharing your story as well, your money story. Yeah. Very interesting, very fascinating. Yeah. Thanks for being honest. And I hope you guys learned a thing or two. And we'll see you guys on the next episode.